Hi everyone, my name is Meg and 2022 has been a very good year for me so far. I've actually spent a good amount of time this year reading, so here are my start of the year reads for 2022. My family and I spent New Year's at the beach, and that gave me a lot of time to read under the sun, and as the sun was setting, it was so nice. While I was there, I was able to finish one last book before the end of 2021, and that was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. This book follows two boys, Aristotle and Dante, who have separate outlooks on life, but who together try to uncover the truths about their lives. They converse about their families, their upbringings, their hopes, their feelings and thoughts, everything in between, and I think it's a well done depiction of growing up. I was very excited to read this because I hadn't seen a single negative review about this book, and I think the cover just speaks for itself with all the awards. So many people call this their comfort book, and I wanted to see what all the buzz was about. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the mark as much as I kind of expected it to, I suppose. I think this was originally published back in 2012, so I can see how it may have been revolutionary for exploring the themes of LGBTQ+ adolescence and familial issues. I acknowledge how it could have been groundbreaking for books in that regard. In 2021, however, I still appreciate the story. I just feel as though I have read stuff like it quite a few times already prior to reading the book, so it wasn't anything new to me plot-wise or even writing-wise, unfortunately. There were a few ideas communicated in this book that I did like. I tabbed them here, especially the ones regarding dreams. There's even one that talked about, like, why can't you just read a book for fun or something along those lines. I think if I hadn't known about how well praised this book was, maybe I would have received it a bit more openly in a sense. Unfortunately, I did set expectations for it in my head, and I think that inevitably, well, I was disappointed in a sense, but I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because I do think it's a good book, but it wasn't particularly extraordinary or a book that had presented something new to me as a reader in 2021. This next book I also brought to the beach. I started it there right after Ari and Dante, but I finished it back home, and it is the very first book I read in 2022, and that is Dream Thieves, the second book in the Raven cycle. Guys, this series is, I guess I've already dubbed it as my favorite series, but it is slowly becoming that even more. If you haven't started it, there are going to be spoilers because I cannot totally avoid talking about what happens, but just so that you're aware, this is the second book. Now, Raven Cycle follows a group of 4 boys and Blue. The boys led unofficially by Gansey. Oh my gosh, I love Gansey. Okay, Gansey. They are looking for Glendower, a Welsh king, because if they find him, they will grant whoever finds him, I don't know if it's like as a group or individually, but they will grant them 1 wish. And each of the boys have their separate stories. They all have something they long for, and they are all so well developed. Sorry, whoa, something happened there, but I love each of these characters. And Blue is the daughter of Nora, who is a psychic. My goodness, their household is everything. So they're basically a women-led household of psychics. Everybody has their own thing going on. There's cousins and aunts and everything, except Blue does not have any of those powers. I don't know the exact term right now, but Blue heightens their powers, so they use her as like an assist when they're doing readings or such. But she cannot see into the future. She cannot predict anything. This is where it gets interesting, because Blue has been told her entire life that if she kisses her true love, he will die. And Blue finds out that her supposed true love is a raven boy from the school of Alien named Gansey. Okay. And then they meet. Okay, they're a friend group now. My goodness, I love their dynamics. And so now, Blue is like, what? I'm not gonna tell him that I was told he's my true love and that if I kiss him, he's gonna die. Because I kinda like Adam, but then I can't kiss Adam and I can't explain why either. It's like all of that, plus them on this journey to finding Glendower and discovering the secrets of their little town in Henrietta, Virginia. Oh, it's so good. It's such a good mix of adventure and mystery, a bit of thrill, but also there's humor in it, and there's like sprinkles of romance and really great characters. They all have their own individual like amazingness. Now this book follows one of the other 3 Raven boys named Ronan. They describe him as like a knife, I think. That's what I remember. He's a knife or like a snake or something, where it's your fault if you get hurt by him because you already see that he's dangerous, and yet you continue to. Yeah. Ronan. Now this book has this theme about secrets, and it begins by saying that there are 3 kinds. There's the one that you need at least 2 people for, one to keep, one to never know. The second one is the kind of secret that you keep from yourself every single day, that you refuse to acknowledge as truth. And then the third secret, which is secrets that people may never ever really know because they were taken to the grave or they died with their... Well, that's exactly what taken to the grave means. Perhaps it was once known but was taken to the grave, or maybe it is a useless mystery, arcane and lonely, unfound because no one ever looked for it. Those 3 secrets, I think, are well incorporated into the story. My goodness, guys. Ronan was never really like my favorite character, or a character that I particularly focused on, I guess. But I appreciate this book because it allowed me to get to know his character a lot more, and also for what it did in terms of continuing the plot. Sometimes middle books in series feel like filler, but this did not. It really felt meaningful to the plot and to explaining further what's going on. You get so much more of the characters in this book as well, like not just Ronan, though he is sort of who we follow the most, but we also get some from the household of Blue. Of course, we get the main group, the gang. We get a lot of Gansey and Blue. And I'm going to be honest, I am really enticed by that whole what's gonna happen there. Are they gonna end up together? But then if they end up together, what's gonna happen because she can't kiss him? It's like that is what I kind of get excited about. This installment, of course, as I've mentioned before, follows Ronan Moore and the ley line and a secret that I don't know. Well, there's a secret. Of course, it follows that more. So I found myself much more keen to read when Blue or Gansey was involved in a chapter, because I think they're my favorite characters. But nonetheless, I did enjoy this book. I enjoyed every single chapter. Every page was like, okay, that's another thing to take note of, because it all felt important. I had fun tabbing this one. I tabbed it a little bit more than Ari and Dante. This story is so fun to follow. It has been kind of a while since I finished Raven Boys, and I do really want to finish this series. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. This next book was one that had been on my TBR for a few months. It's Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. You guys, this one was amazing. I mean, alright, first of all, in this book we follow the Riva family whose past and even present are haunted by the glamorized horrors of being a celebrity, of being in the media and being well known. The writing was absolutely captivating, and you could tell that so much thought was put into the development of not only the story but the characters as well. This book has time jumps, but you never get lost because they're ordered in such a way that you get to understand the story even more as you go on. Well, of course, it's what they're meant to do, but it was really smart. That's how I would describe it. I mean, I was hooked from the very beginning. Allow me to please read one of the opening lines in the prologue of this book. The local Santa Ana winds speed through the mountains and valleys from the inland to the shore, hot and strong. Myth says they are agents of chaos and disorder, but what they really are is an accelerant. Ah! What the heck? Okay, and then the next one, because this part of the book basically talks about Malibu's history with catching fire, and it ends with these 2 lines. By 7 a.m., the coastline of Malibu was engulfed in flames, because just as it is in Malibu's nature to burn, so was it in one particular person's nature to set fire and walk away. That line was so good. I had to mark it because from this opening segment, I suppose, I knew this book was gonna be good, and it really was. It was really, really good. Allow me to just read what I wrote in my GoodReads review. I said, how do I find the words to describe this book? I was hooked from the very start. The writing was absolutely impeccable, and I devoured each chapter because of it. Its intelligent pace and structure allowed me to understand each and every one of the complex, imperfect characters and why exactly the story unfolded the way it did. The development of these characters is just so great, and my vocabulary met quite a few new words too. My experience reading it was an absolute joy, colored by the most wistful, stunning, and heartbreaking angles of Malibu over decades. The story itself was so good as well, and it ended full circle. A humbling depiction of the glamour associated with showbiz and the life-changing impacts of relationships, especially those with yourself. I just think that this book is so good. Objectively, it is such a good book. I certainly understand all the praise for Taylor Jenkins Reid as a writer in just this one book. I was pulled into an entirely different world that, I'm gonna be honest, oftentimes I wonder what it would be like to be in, you know? Of course, this is fiction, but to read about it was amazing. I mean, I have always wanted to surf, but now I feel like, alright, now I can do it. I got some insider info. The lifestyles you read about in this book, and how over time a lot of the aspects of them remain the same, but somehow they're entirely different now. I feel like I've lived so many lives through this book, and I felt every single emotion along the way. It was really well done. I give it 5 out of 5 stars, and I am looking forward to reading more from Taylor Jenkins Reid. Alright, and that is the last book I finished, but I also wanted to include my current read, which is The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakavic. Alright guys, I have a bone to pick with whoever convinced me that this had found family. Where? Brief description, we follow Neil Jostin. He's a runaway son of this criminal. Him and his mom had to escape his dad, and they've been living undercover ever since. They go by fake names. Neil Jostin is a fake name. They live entirely new identities in different parts of the world. Well, I think just America. But now he gets pulled into this athletic program for XC, a sport, which I still don't entirely get, honestly. Like, I'm more than halfway, I still don't understand how it works, but I kind of just go with it. It has balls, it has runners, I don't know. And one of his teammates is somebody from Neil's dark past, so he's trying to keep it low-key, but he loves XC so much that he refuses to leave or does not want to leave. I suppose he knows how to do it, right? He just doesn't want to. I don't really know, because he has this thing where it's like he's not leaving because of the person from his past who's part of his life now, but I don't remember why. I don't remember if it was explained. Anyway, that's not my biggest bone to pick. I mean, it needs plot. He has to stay. I mean, okay, that's his challenge, is trying to keep it low-key while also being like on a team that gets a lot of publicity. However, my issue lies with the dynamics of the characters in this group. I don't know. It's hard. I find a lot of the characters in this book to be irredeemable in a sense. Some of them I feel like, okay, they're characters, yeah, but they take it too far sometimes. It's not passed off in the book as something good. They certainly address it, or other characters address it, in saying that, you know, these are not the right crowd, or if you need help, let me know, you know. There's like that. It really isn't found family, at least not yet. Or at least, like, I hope it won't be unless, like, serious character development happens, because there is serious assault and bullying in this book. I'm not particularly fond either of the choice of words sometimes, or of the dialogue exchange, I feel like. I mean, there are 2 more books in this series, so there's certainly a lot more that I need to read before I finalize an opinion on it. But these are just my thoughts as of reading the first book. I really just need to finish the series, I think, before I start judging all of them, because I just know I'm lacking something, but I haven't got the words. But I enjoy reading it, huh? Like, the chapters are long, but I've actually gotten used to them because it kind of goes by fast for me. It really is just the content of it. We'll see. I really want to like it, because I do like it. I suppose I just don't like some of the elements of it. Some aspects of it. I feel like we're gonna get a major exploration of Andrew's character arc in the upcoming books. I echo what Neil, the character, feels in this book, which is like, so what, are you like good or bad? I mean, good and bad, there's no definite between those two for people. But you know, like, whose side are you on? But I really do have 2 whole books I haven't yet read, and I'm open. But as of right now, this is what I feel about the book. So those are all the books I read to kick off the new year. I personally think I've had a pretty productive year in terms of reading. My goal for this year is 14 books. I told myself I'd prioritize meaningful reading over, like, efficient reading. So I told myself 1 book a month should do. I feel like that's very reasonable. Plus 2, as not as a challenge, but I feel like I don't think I'm going to be reading 1 book a month. Like, I think an extra 2 that I can squeeze in between months would be good. And I like the number 14. I hope you get to enjoy reading too, or at least whatever hobby it is that you've picked up, and that you always stay safe. I hope you're taking care of yourself and that you are enjoying life right now. Alright, that is all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!